Hi everyone, so today we're going to solve a percentage yield exam question. On the screen you can see a question. The medical drug aspirin is made from salicylic acid. 1 mole of salicylic acid gives 1 mole of aspirin. So we need to identify our key quantities and key values while solving the question. So we are given that 1 mole of salicylic acid, I'm going to underline that so that I have the notes ready, will give me 1 mole of aspirin. Here is the chemical equation. So salicylic acid with the formula C7H6O3 when treated with chemicals is going to give us aspirin C9H8O4. So we know that the molar ratio is 1 to 1. So till yet I don't know what the question is about, but I can identify the molar ratio. Okay, now the question asks us, in a trial, 100 grams of salicylic acid gave 121.2 grams of aspirin. What was the percentage yield? Okay, so now since I have all my values that I need to solve these questions, let's just solve the question. So what was the percentage yield? First of all, let me just write the formula of percentage yield. Percentage yield is equal to the actual mass obtained during a chemical reaction. So actual mass divided by the calculated mass. The calculated mass here is our theoretical mass. So by theory, we know how much mass should we obtain. Times by 100. This multiplying by 100 gives us the percentage value of this, of the percentage yield value of aspirin. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, what do you know in the question? What is this 121.2 grams? Is this the calculated mass or is this the actual mass obtained? So we know that since this is in a trial, so that means that this is the actual mass obtained by this reaction. So I already know my actual mass. I'm going to abbreviate this as AM. This is going to be 121.2 grams. And I need to find my calculated mass. So whenever you came across a numerical, all I want you is to first write down your formula and then calculate and identify which variables you already know and which variables you need to find. So in this question, I already know that my actual mass is 121.2 grams, but I need to find my calculated mass, which is my theoretical mass. So let's find it. First of all, I know that my molar ratio is 1 to 1 with 1 moles of salicylic acid, which is C7H6O3, to 1 moles of C9H8O4. 1 to 1 molar ratio means that if I have 1 mole of salicylic acid, it will give me 1 mole of aspirin. I'm going to write the AR values here, which will help me find the MR values. So the AR value of carbon is 12, AR value of hydrogen is 1, and for oxygen it's 16. So first of all, we need to find the molar mass. The molar mass of salicylic acid and aspirin. So let's just find the molar mass. MR, which is also known as the molar mass. So since we have, I'm going to find the molar mass of salicylic acid, so MrH6O3. The way I write this in the bracket tells the examiner that I'm finding the molar mass of salicylic acid. So now I have 7 times by the carbon atoms, 6 times by the hydrogen atoms, and 3 times by the oxygen atoms. So 7 into the AR of carbon, which is 12, 7 into 12, plus 6 into 1, plus 3 into 16. and this is going to give me, let me just find it, 138. So this is the MR of salicylic acid. Let's now find the MR of aspirin. The formula is C9H8O4. So let's just quickly do that. 9 times with a carbon, and 9 into 12, 8 into 1, 4 into 16, and this is going to give me 180. So now I have the values of the MR of salicylic acid as well as the aspirin. Now, why do I need to find the MR? Because I want to find the number of moles which were used in the actual trial. So what is the formula of finding the number of moles? Number of moles, which is usually represented with a symbol small n. The formula for finding number of moles is equal to mass in grams divided by the molar mass, which is the mass of 1 mole, which is our MR value. Some people usually write it as MR or AR, but the molar mass is actually the more accurate term you can use. Okay? So what do I know in the question? I know the mass in grams, but I know the mass in grams of salicylic acid. However, to find percentage yield, I would need for aspirin. But since I know the molar ratio, I could find that. I could find the number of moles and the theoretical mass of aspirin using the molar ratio. So since I know that 100 grams of salicylic acid is used, I can find the number of moles of salicylic acid. So let me use my notation. So N into, what was the formula for salicylic acid? Let's just go back quickly. So this is C7H6O3. C7H6O3. Mass in grams, it's 100. Theoretical mass is 138. And you get 0.725 moles. If you use your calculator, you would get that. Since we know that we have a 1-to-1 molar ratio, so since I have used 0.725 moles of salicylic acid, I would get 0.725 moles of aspirin, theoretically. So I know, by the molar ratio, I know that my moles of aspirin is going to be 0.725. Now what else I need? I need to find the calculated mass. So I would just rearrange this formula, this one. Since I need to find the mass in grams, I'm just going to rearrange it. And now mass in grams is equal to number of moles times the molar mass. Number of moles is 0.725. And our molar mass for aspirin is this. My MR, which is 180. So let's just quickly multiply. I'm getting 130.5 grams. Wow, so we have calculated our theoretical mass for aspirin. So in theory, if I use 100 grams of salicylic acid, I should get 130.5 grams of aspirin. So now I can put these in my formula. The formula I wrote earlier, which was percentage yield is equal to actual mass divided by the calculated or the theoretical mass times by 100. So my actual mass was given in the question, and where is it? It's this, 121.2 grams. And my theoretical mass came out to be 130.5 grams. So let's just write it. 121.2 grams divided by 130.5 grams. Make sure to add your units and they're going to cancel out, and just multiply it by 100 to get percentage yield value. So let's just quickly find out our percentage yield here. And this came up to be, yeah, you're quicker than me, well done. So this is 92.9%. Pretty good yield. So this way, we have calculated our percentage yield question. So you will get similar questions in exam. So yeah, go practice more questions, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.